Hi, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Day. I am the Associate Director for Disability and Accessibility Services. And in this video, our hope is to give you an overview of disability and accessibility services for our incoming students, as well as a look into academic housing and meal plan accommodations offered here at George Fox University. Many students who come into our office often ask whether or not they are eligible for accommodations. As you can see on this page here is a wide array of different disabilities and diagnoses, ranging from learning disabilities to physical disabilities to different medical conditions, dietary needs and restrictions. I always encourage students, when in doubt, come in and talk to us. Students very likely qualify for some form of accommodations, and it's always beneficial to have a conversation about that eligibility and different resources and opportunities. Academic accommodations are available for eligible students. We value the interactive process and want it to be a collaborative experience for students. We recognize that they are the experts on their own experience and story and want to hear from them and very much value their input and perspective. When we are assessing barriers and needs for accommodations, we are first looking at what is the diagnosis or disability, what barriers are present due to the diagnosis or disability, and what accommodations will help circumvent or remove those barriers. It is also entirely confidential. We value and want to protect our students' privacy. Individualized accommodations are available here at George Fox University. We recognize that each student has individual needs and individual support that would be beneficial. So we are able to provide individualized and specific accommodations for students. There are also clear documentation guidelines listed on our DAS website, as well as flexibility. We recognize that getting documentation can be a barrier for some and that it can take time. And so we want to work with students to problem solve for that. Listed here are some of our sample accommodations that are available. Testing accommodations are one of them that is widely used. That can look like extended time, low distraction location, or a reader for students. Some other accommodations may be note-taking or professor lecture notes and slides, video captioning, access to audiobooks, the ability to take breaks in class, flexibility with deadlines and absences, enlarged font, and many more. If you go to georgefox.edu/DAS and go to the academic accommodation section, the procedure for requesting accommodations will be listed there. As you can see, here are the 3 steps. First, students will need to fill out an application on AIM. Then they will need to upload relevant provider documentation. Again, that documentation guidelines are listed on the website. And then finally, they will meet with DAS staff for an intake. The procedure and process for requesting housing and meal plan accommodations is very similar to academic. Again, we are assessing what are those barriers due to the diagnosis and how can we circumvent or remove those barriers in the housing and meal plan realm. Some of the available accommodations for housing or meal plans may look like a single room accommodation, ADA housing, private bathroom access, kitchen facility access, an emotional support animal, a service animal, a specific campus location, and then for our meal plan modifications, those most often look like a meal plan reduction or being fully off the meal plan. Housing and meal plan accommodations are available for qualifying students. And again, that procedure is available on the DAS website. Students can see that they will fill out a housing and meal plan accommodation application within the AIM system. They will then upload relevant documentation. Those guidelines are listed under the procedure, and then they will meet with DAS staff for an intake. We know the transition to college is a huge change, and we want to support and prepare incoming students well. Here's a couple of things to be mindful of as you prepare for that transition to college. The first is that IEPs and 504 plans do not automatically transfer over. While we do value IEPs and 504s and take previous support and accommodations received into account, they do not automatically transfer. Seeing as college and its formatting looks a lot different, that support and needs looks different too. Professors only know accommodations, not diagnosis. Professors will receive accommodation notifications that speak to a student's individual accommodations, but when it comes to diagnosis, it is entirely up to a student and at their discretion to disclose that information. Parent involvement is by student choice and consent. Students will need to sign a release of information within our AIM system to give consent for parents to be involved in any disability-related conversations or discussions. And again, it is entirely up to the student. Students have a choice every semester, every class when it comes to accommodations. So every semester, students will request those accommodations, and it is up to them to select the specific course they want those accommodations for, and they can even select the specific accommodations they want for each course. Some other things to be mindful of, especially coming from the K through 12 system. When it comes to college, there is a lot more student initiative and student involvement. Some of these student responsibilities are making needs known and requesting accommodations. We will not know that there is a need or specifically a need for accommodations unless a student is letting us know. Meeting with DAS is up to the student and is a student responsibility. Following the procedures for arranging accommodations on AIM is a student responsibility. And then communicating with DAS staff if there are questions or difficulties. Now, at this point, you may be wondering, where do I go from here? If you, after reviewing this video, you have come to the conclusion that you do need accommodations or would benefit from them, I would recommend going to georgefox.edu/DAS and select Get Started with DAS. There you will be encouraged to follow the procedure listed to get accommodations established. If you still are not sure what the best path forward is for you, I would still recommend going to our DAS website. You are also always welcome to call into our office or email our office. We are always happy to meet or talk with a prospective or incoming student about potential accommodations and support available. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. As always, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out.